Hey, greetings from Hoi An in Vietnam on a lovely Family Friday, hashtag Family Friday. Um, it is awesome to be here. If you've been following our feed, you'll know that the Parenting Passports Facebook page, as every Friday for a long while, has been sharing a hashtag Family Friday and introducing other world schooling families from around the world, and doing our best to just introduce these different people and their different lifestyles. So today I am really excited because we are planning on going live with one of these families. So we just got to overcome a couple of technical hurdles, and I have a request to be joined by Jonathan's wife, Meredith Kenzie. This is a beautiful and inspirational Canadian family. Hi guys. Hi guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, greetings from Hoi An. How are you?
We are well. Seeing the hotline makes us miss Hoi An.
That's right. So yeah, this world schooling family, Jonathan and Meredith, were actually one of the reasons that Ali and I and the two girls have settled in Hoi An. When were you guys here?
Last summer into fall. It was like July through October.
Through October, yeah.
Uh-huh. And tell us about your experience of Hoi An as part of your world schooling adventure.
We loved it.
Yeah, I think the laid back life is very conducive to relaxing and finding your inner peace. We definitely, after traveling as much as we did over the last, in the half year leading up to that, it was really nice to just settle in one place where food wasn't expensive, accommodation wasn't expensive, and we could just go to a great co-working space like the Hub and just grind it out and really just relax. I was at the gym every day.
We could go to the beach every day or a pool to swim, and our girls love to swim. And I think it's one of those things that's never guaranteed. We just happened upon so many other families, most local expats and world schooling and traveling families. And so we just had this never-ending cycle of social plans and people to hang out with. And yes, I see.
And that was certainly instrumental in our decision to come here. That those families existed, that they were passing through from different times, and we've been here about a month, and there has been a constant stream. You still have to, like you say, you have to do that, reach out, engage, connect. And you still have to do all those. Where are you going to eat tonight? But within the confines of your own family's need for peace and quiet and solitude, there are families coming through, and they're certainly willing to connect. And I know Ellie and the girls have been having play dates and hanging out at different families, and it's all very spontaneous. It's all very impromptu, and it's an awesome connection, and and I guess that's partly why we're speaking today. So just to put some perspective to how we met this lovely family, and we all met at a Project World Schooling Summit that took place in Chiang Mai in Thailand towards the end of last year. I think it was about October. At this point, Ali was heavily pregnant, and so it was our last stop before we went back and had baby number 2. And we was always curious about what we were going to do next and where we was going to go, where we'd be comfortable with a baby. And we have a lot of, and we're very grateful to Jonathan and Meredith that they filled us in on Hoi An being very family friendly. So guys, tell us a little bit about yourselves. Where are you from? How long you been world schooling?
I suppose that'll be my cue to get started as Meredith tucks away Aria. But we we're Canadian. We're from Toronto, from the Greater Toronto area, and we were. Meredith had just wrapped up her maternity leave before she was going back to work, and we came to Asia, and we decided, we wanted to. Well, we'd come to Thailand for the last month of her maternity leave, and then got back to Canada, and then 6 months later, we decided pretty much immediately, but it took us 6 months to extract ourselves from life in Canada as, I guess, stay in our home country, work 9 to 5 thing. And so we sold everything that we had that wasn't nailed down, reduced our life down to 9 suitcases, half of which were my clinical files. Being a marriage and family therapist and a psychotherapist, I got to keep my files for 7 years. So I had to store those, and then we had to store our taxes, and then the rest we were left with just a couple suitcases worth of bags. And so after that, we just set out to go travel the world. We started off in Belize. Then we went back then we went to Cancun. We were just outside of Cancun in Isla Mujeres, which is a small little island about half an hour, 20-minute ferry ride from Cancun. So, but gorgeous beach. We're totally the beach type people. So Meredith and I are most comfortable on the beach. That's what we love the most. So, and then after Mexico, we decided to come to Asia again, and we never did like the fast travel. We were kind of like the 1 month, the 2 month type travelers, and we needed to slow down, which is why we landed in Hoi An, just to start working on our online businesses. Meredith was getting into online proofreading to earn some money that way, and I was still building my online psychotherapy practice, which took quite a long time to figure out, because we all have these dreams of being employed online and building online businesses, but you're such a small fish in a huge pond, and you got to figure out the tools and the tips and the strategies to grow your business. So we're now a year and a half into our travels, and we're starting to make some consistent money and good money online. So that's been a good sigh of relief.
Cool. You're jumping right ahead to the profits aspect. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the catalyst to leave behind your Canadian life, and how that flows over into your parenting philosophies.
So why did we leave what was the catalyst to leave behind our life?
There's so many of them. Big one, just that we're never going to have this time again with our kids this young. We already see it with Charlotte. Like when she was 4.5 and we went to Thailand for our first sort of trial trip, we didn't know it was a trial trip really at the time, but that's what it turned into. We didn't really need to seek out friends that much. It's like running into random people on the beach was enough. And then at the beginning of our, first year of world schooling, again, we didn't have to seek them out as much. We ran into them at pools and beaches, and it just kind of happened. And then by the end of that first year, like when we were at the summit, we were in the full throes of, I've got to find friends for this girl. I have to find people for her to play with. And I'm very curious to see if you guys end up in this similar stage with Ayla, or whether it's just kid dependent or age dependent. You never know, right? But yeah, we wanted to do it when I call them portable. They're portable right now, right? We can pick them up and take them anywhere. They have very little say. And at Arya's age, 2.5, they don't care. They're happy. Whereas Charlotte's getting to an age where she has more of a say. She has more opinions. And yeah, we wanted more time with them. I loved my job. Jonathan loved his job. But ultimately, we have the rest of our lives to make big careers and make lots of money and work a lot. And we're not going to have this time when they're so little and they want to hang out with us. So I'd say that was a big factor. And I think an even bigger one, or the same, was Jonathan having more time with them. Yeah. He'd found himself in a position in Canada where the work he was doing was taking him out of town on a regular basis, and his schedule was sort of more like fluctuated more. So it was hard to like know that we had all weekend together, because stuff would come up with clients and things would happen, or he'd be away. And he was really feeling the lack of time with the girls in particular.
And has that manifested? Because that's something that's a huge driver for us in this lifestyle. Is that, and I even think it's a sub tagline for the podcast. It's all about our
Mm-hmm.
parenting passports and profits is about spending more time with your children. Now, it doesn't mean
Mm-hmm.
spending 24/7, because there are things to do. You know,
Yeah.
we've got to survive, and we're still working on that, and then thrive. But in general, you know, there's no commuting. Yeah, there's a lot less chores. You know, there's no cleaning cars. There's no
Mm-hmm.
tidying up the yard.
Yeah.
There's none.
Mm-hmm.
So all of these things you get back, whereas I didn't find we had those in our Western life. So how is that working out for you in terms of the time you spend with your children?
I would say that we've spent an amazing year and a half, and Meredith likes to say that we essentially gave our eldest an extra year of childhood. And so what we've done essentially is we go through. Well, Charlotte was just saying today she wants to get back in an airplane because she wants to travel, and we
Wow.
really as a family work really well in airports. Like when I'm pulling into the departure lounge, I feel like I'm coming home, and I would actually set up a tent in one. So we love the travel. We love planes. We love everything about it. We get there early to go to the lounges. And that's been the last year and a half, is to be able to spend an incredible amount of time together, and time in the sense that every day can be a weekend or every day can be a work day. We get to choose when that is, and that I think is the biggest thing. If we want to take a day off and go to the beach, we just do that. We don't feel the need to go and work at some office job or something. So I don't know. How about you?
Yeah, no, I'd say we spend less time together as a family than we expected, because we've been working on trying to set up businesses that are online. So you do have to go somewhere like the Hub, or, you know, go somewhere and actually do work. It's not that there's some families out there that you watch what they're doing and you think, when do you ever work? But at least for us, the reality is we have to spend time on our businesses. But we spend, I'd say, especially in Hoi An, we really had a good rhythm of taking turns spending time one-on-one with the girls. We had to carve out family time a little more consciously, like the four of us. But Jonathan with the girls for a whole day, or me with the girls for a whole day, was happening all the time. And then we were, like, at least once or twice a week, we'd have a bigger family day where we'd go to Vin Pearl Land, or, you know, go somewhere for more of a trip, or even just a day at the beach, or even after we were done working, like at 4:30, be like, hey, let's hop on the scooter and go for a swim at the beach for an hour. And instead of, like, as you say, in the Western life, well, we don't have time, we got to make dinner and get lunches prepped and do this and that and get to bed early so we can get up early, and that kind of thing was nice to just have a more relaxed thing. More relaxed life.
And I think people underestimate the power of small savings of time. Something I learned many years ago is, even if you save just 1 minute, so 10 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day adds up to 40 hours a week. That's like getting a whole week's holiday. So, you know, what areas of your life could you save 10 minutes a day? You know, so like I say, if you're not doing those chores, if you're not, you know, that's time can stack up. And you're claiming back a lot without necessarily giving up work. So and we totally understand, and specifically being here in a place that you guys have been, I thought Ellie and the two girls actually came for lunch here the other day.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we did that.
Yeah, and you know, that's another example of during the work day that the family can come together, where I would not have been able to do that in Western life, you know, not to the same degree. And every little minute like that is a special minute of building that relationship. So, you know, I'm really grateful for that. So for people watching, can you share a little bit about, so time is obviously really important, quality time with each other and the family, and you're still balancing all the same sort of things everyone else has to do, work and love and all those things. How is it spilling over to two areas, education of the children, and then you've already started to allude to it, but how we describe living life? So the passports part of parenting passports and profits is really just a metaphor for living life to the full, taking advantage of opportunities as they arise on any given day, being present, you know, not necessarily planning too much, and just being present and taking opportunities. So maybe start with education, how you're what education choices are you making for your children as part of the world schooling philosophy, and then how does that spill into living life?
Okay. Well,
Sure.
the education's an interesting one.
Yeah, we go back and forth on that. So we unschooled, I would say we unschooled the first year of this journey. So we didn't focus on school. We didn't do any curriculum at home. Charlotte was 5. For us, education was hanging out together, talking, laughing, playing.
Going to the market and learning how to barter and how to deal in different currencies, and learning how to swim in the waves of the Vietnam beaches better than most adults I know, you know. Things
well,
like
and then Charlotte, like they would also go, like they went to a day home, nursery day home in Mexico, and Charlotte she was almost starting to interpret Spanish for some of the kids there, and for Aria in the day home, and so that it was basically unschooling the first year. Then now that we find ourselves in Japan, for me, I speak Japanese. It was really important for my kids to learn a foreign language, and so we've made the decision to put Charlotte in grade 1 here, which is a Japanese public school. They start in April, so when we got here in January, we were just in time to get our visas in order and get Charlotte ready to go to school. So now she's in full-time school, which we don't love that aspect.
Especially me. I'm from a background of a very eclectic educational background. Me and my siblings did a range of public school, homeschool, Waldorf school. I really believe in play base for young kids and not pushing academics too soon. And the research backs me up if I wanted to find it. So it's a little hard for me to watch my little girl going off to a very academic focused, very traditional school. But we're just emphasizing that we're focusing on friends and language.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, we really don't care if she is perfect in school or even close to it. We just want her to enjoy making friends in a foreign country and getting to learn the language so she can have friends. That's really our goal.
And and I would say it's successful too, because she comes home speaking a new Japanese word, and her accent, you cannot differentiate the sounds, the way she speaks Japanese from a native Japanese person. So she's not going to come out with Japanese in a sense that it'll be Japanese as a second language. It's going to be native Japanese level Japanese. And so, you know, we're going to have 2 blonde girls that run around speaking perfect native Japanese. So we don't know how long we'll stay here, but that's always been a dream of ours to give them the language. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate a little bit more what unschooling means to you? Because that's a term that gets bandied around and a lot of people may not understand what it means. And I'm also fully aware that many people put different interpretations on it. So what does unschooling mean to you?
Well, I went to traditional school my entire life. My mom was a teacher for 30 years. So, you know, the world schooling, unschooling wasn't on our family's radar. It wasn't on my radar. So I had no concept as to what that was. And to be honest, we were doing that for a year by the time we got to the Chiang Mai Project World School Family Summit, before I kind of learned what I'd been doing over the last year. So unschooling to me is unschooling / world schooling, because they are going to learn something being out in the world traveling. So but it's just not going to school and sitting in some classroom where they've got a curriculum that they have to follow that's given to them, not one that they actually get to choose. And so Charlotte, over the course of the last year, has gotten to choose how she grows her knowledge base, where she learns and what she takes in, and we just go ahead and support that in whatever. So now she's also an amazing ballerina. So she's done ballet in Vietnam, she's done ballet in Mexico, and I don't know if we quite got her into ballet in Belize, but I think we're about to. So now she's seen that and she's gotten to experience that, and now that she's doing ballet in Japan, she just absolutely loves it. So for us, it's just a child-led approach to learning that we support, and we don't direct her in any single way. Now, when it comes to what the decision to put her in Japanese school, in the public school system here, she expressed a lot of interest in going to school here, mainly I think because of the year of not having that steady set of friends, where she wanted friends on a consistent basis that she would see day in, day out. So that to us is also world schooling. It may not be unschooling, but it's world schooling because she's getting that choice. She's getting to get that cultural experience and that language experience. So
very interesting, very interesting. And to hear that she's expressed an interest to travel, is that itchy feet?
I think I was just thinking yesterday that I'm getting itchy feet, and so I think she's probably got a case of what her dad does, which is that itchy feet. Okay. And I'm sure that's just, both my parents came from overseas, so they were just used to change. So yeah.
And maybe that's a segue into So how do you in the context of grabbing life's opportunities, what's Meredith and Jonathan's attitude to doing that, living in the moment?
We realized that everything is push-pull. Like, even leaving Canada, that was push-pull. I mean, there's a pull to go abroad and to see the world and explore, but then there's also the family and the connections that we leave back home pushing us back to Canada. So our goal is to find a good balance that we can be able to come and go back and forth to Canada as frequently as possible and visit family and stay with family. I think from here, how do we live in the moment? We take it day by day. We've committed, I think, in our heads to a year in Japan, a full school year for Charlotte. And if we like it after that, then we would leave, or part of it, we would stay. And if we decided we wanted to get back on the road and travel, we would leave. I will say that Charlotte's developed some amazing friendships here. She's got a best friend that she hangs out with now
pretty much every weekend.
Every weekend and every free moment.
Yeah.
And they're a native, they're from Britain as well, that family. And so their kids speak native English, obviously, just like ours do. And that's hard to find in Asia. It's certainly hard to find in Japan. And so I think they are really happy that we're here. We're really happy that they're here and they get to hang out and the girls get to play. And
yeah, we all get along really well and pretty much carve out as much time as we can with them, because Charlotte and Iris are developing quite a lovely, special friendship. That's very nice. Yeah.
So what are some examples of living in the moment in Japan, especially when you're surrounded by such a different culture?
Well, for me, one of the best parts is getting outside all the time. We spend so much time outside. Like, even living in Hoi An, it was sometimes too hot, right, to be outside in those mid-afternoon hours, and we found ourselves holing up for naps and air conditioning during the day. And here in Japan, we hit the sweet spot. We got here in winter here, but for Canadians it was not winter.
It was like
we were outside every day. So to me, it's felt like we've had 4 months of spring. Amazing, beautiful weather that's not too cold and not too cold, not too hot, no bugs, lots of sunny, nice days, enough rain days that the girls get to wear their umbrellas and rain boots and go have fun in puddles, but it's not all the time. So living in the moment has been it's been so nice to wake up and be like, oh, look, gorgeous sunny day, we're going to the park. Or we're going to try a new park, or just really slowing down and enjoying that.
I would agree. The outside, and for me, I live in the moment just by saying I'm going to join them for the day and put my business down
or stop by for an hour. For a good chunk, we were sort of living in one area that was about a half-hour walk to one of the best parks in the city, and then Jonathan was working often at a Starbucks on the other side of the park. So he'd be working, and on his way home, he'd be like, oh, are you in the park? And he'd come by for half an hour to play and kind of have that spontaneous family time out of nowhere, which was fun. And
I'd add to that this lifestyle, we don't own a car.
Yeah.
And I think that takes away the need to earn $10,000 a year. But on top of that, we walk everywhere. And so for me, living in the day, I literally, I walk 10 kilometers, sometimes 15 kilometers a day. And because the flowers, the cherry blossoms are blooming and then the plum blossoms, I literally stop and I smell the flowers. And I do that multiple times in the day. And I never did that in my entire life, ever. I was always, how can I get somewhere as fast as possible? I've got a meeting. How do I get there as fast as possible? And one of my strong suits is not patience. I'm not a patient person. I want to get things done, and I want it done now. And I love that about myself, but it's also a greatest weakness too. So it helps me get a lot done, but it also doesn't let me live in the moment. So now when I actually get to go for a 10-kilometer walk in a day, then I stop and smell the flowers, and then I know I'm living in the moment. So
Awesome. Cool. Well, I can tell you guys are juggling quite a lot there, so I won't prolong. So tell the listeners a little bit about how you've transferred your careers or your ability to earn money from a traditional environment to clearly a mobile environment. You know, a year and a half on the road, that's a significant achievement.
Yeah, I would say that's been a long work in progress. I think because we never wanted to set up a Shopify store. We never wanted to. So Meredith got in a little bit of working with an established platform doing proofreading. And so that certainly paid the bills when we were in Southeast Asia, when we were in places like Hoi An, where the cost was a whole lot cheaper and we could afford to live on, that $20 an hour. But my field of being I'm a marriage and family therapist, so I do psychotherapy counseling online, and it's taken, and I've never joined a platform, I've never joined a middleman, and that's always been really important to me, to contract directly with my clients. So I had to become this small fish in this enormous pond, and finally get found by families and found by individuals to access my services. And slowly but surely, the referrals have started coming in. So I actually work with some Worldschooling families. I've done that now for about the better part of 8 months. I've had a number of different clients. I've had clients in the places that we've gone to that have followed me online. Now I get clients through Instagram, so that's fantastic. But I've most recently started branching into coaching, and that's been wildly successful to offer coaching as opposed to just straight psychotherapy. And that's been so successful that it's prompted me to launch the Online Therapist Academy. So that's coming out in the next couple weeks, where I'll be working and teaching other therapists to do what I do, which is offer a high-ticket online coaching program. So
wow,
Great.
So out of curiosity, did you out of curiosity, did you have those skills before you left? And what I meant, you had the relationship, but did you have those online skills, or did you foresee or has this evolved as you've taken steps?
Yeah.
No, this
can I say?
Yeah.
I feel like we did it backwards compared to some families. We just sold everything and took off, and then tried to learn everything as we went.
Yeah.
So it was pretty much almost a full year, right? Like when we met you guys in October, I feel like we had just started to figure out the online thing, and it had been 10 months. Yeah. We somehow foolishly thought we were gonna hit the road in Belize, and within a couple weeks have a working website and have clients coming in within a couple months. Yeah. And it was such a huge learning curve, so much more than we expected. And I feel quite naive and silly that we thought that, but it was a much bigger learning curve than we expected. Yeah. And it's taken more time to learn all about it and to figure out and to make mistakes. That's a big thing. Yeah. Yeah. We had to do it wrong over and over and over. And I feel like Jonathan there's been space in Japan, all his long walks, head space, emotional space, mental space to actually dream and think and work out the kinks. Not just I'm going to tweak this thing on my website, I'm going to tweak this thing on my website, but actually figure it out.
I've had 3 different versions of a website, and And not to toot my own horn or anything, but I know I'm a good therapist. I've helped people that have been on Prozac for 5 years completely titrate off Prozac and they're depression free. I've saved people's marriages or helped them save their marriage. No one cares about that when you're online. When no one knows you and you don't come with a rock solid referral, no one knows if you're a good therapist or a bad therapist. And it was a year and a half of learning how to market myself online, learning how to talk to people online, to get people, because no one has any trust factor in me because they've never met me. So that's through video, that's through content, but still beyond that video and the content, you still have to reach out and ask for the sale. And this is what I'm teaching therapists now, is that before you're a therapist, you're a salesperson. And that's true whether you're doing it online or if you're doing it back home in a brick and mortar atmosphere, because the client's still going to call your office. And yeah, they may want to book an appointment, but if you say something wrong, they may not book. They may choose to say, well, thank you very much for the information, and click hang up. So you're always a salesperson first. And so I've slowly over the last few months realized that. And so now I realize I've got to sell myself, sell people that, yeah, I can help you. And then when they say, yeah, I think you can, that's when they book an appointment. So. And
I just wanted to say, I sometimes envy the families we've met who set all this up before they left. Mm-hmm. Like, we met one in particular who had spent several years in the States living their normal life, setting up their online businesses in the background. Mm-hmm. And once they were profitable and pretty much self-sustaining with work as they went on the road, then they left and traveled. And so they've only gotten to do all the fun travel with work built in. Whereas we had this year of stress and figuring it out. But you want tooth medicine.
But that's not how I work. Remember my patience?
Yeah.
I don't have patience. So I said, let's go and we'll figure it out. I just thought miraculously that I'd get super busy online because I'm a decent therapist, but no, you had to figure that out. So, but there's an entire, sorry?
No, carry on.
I was just going to say that the one of the biggest challenges I would say to anyone building an online business is that there's a tremendous learning curve when it comes to the tech side. And I think we all underestimate how long it takes to get proficient at building websites, how to integrate plugins into your site, how to start drip campaigns with email, autoresponders, all that thing, how to build your list. We're constantly learning. So you really need to be a voracious learner and student of the tech side of it, or you've got to have some deep pockets that you can hire people. I'm just an example of someone who had neither of those, and so I just learned through trial and error, and it took the better part of a year to actually figure that out. So
yeah.
Can I just say one last thing, because then I'll probably be out fully with these kids. I think the biggest thing I didn't expect, and it's something that I was very surprised by, was I still have very little time for myself. Settling in Japan is giving a little more, and in Hoi An we started to get it, but I thought I was going to have all this time to work on my pet projects, like making the photo albums for our family that I love to do in the background, or, talking and staying in touch with my friends. And it's amazing how much time the travel planning, where are we going next, where are we going to stay there, what are we going to do? How many nights did we spend planning our language school in Guatemala that never happened and we never went? That was a big part I didn't expect. And I don't know if there's a better way to do it than we did it. But that definitely, there was less of that, like, oh, I have all this free time. We're still parents. I'm still, you see me, I'm a mom with 2 kids. They're all over me. That's
we had that conversation last night, and I said, what about your me time, Ellie? And Ellie said, what me time? So, I've got a baby hanging off me. So No,
anyway,
so before we wrap up, just so what's in store for you guys next? Where do you see life unfolding for you next?
I call this digital nomad 2.0. So we're just taking a pause from the travel, mainly because my business is starting to take off, and it's going to give us an opportunity to have a bit more of that consistency. And then I think, it could be a year, it could be a couple years from now, but we don't know how long we'll be here. But it's likely that we'll just keep traveling. So we'll probably spend more time in Canada, but we'll certainly be hitting the road again for sure. We haven't even been to Europe for any length of time. I want to see Australia too, and New Zealand, and
I think what it's taught us though is that we do need to maintain a home base somewhere for the consistency for the girls. And whether we keep that being Japan or whether we sort of transition that to being Toronto and closer to family, and a time zone that works for Jonathan's clients a bit more, that the travel will involve more time in a home base just for the girls to have that consistency and friends and stuff that doesn't change. But yeah, we all still get the itchy feet, and you just say the word backpack to Aria and she's packing her backpack for the airplane, and we all still have that desire to still, it's exhausting and it's so hard. You roll into a new place and it's like you don't even know where to buy Tylenol or where to go to get diapers, but it's also so fun and you're never bored. You're never just doing the same old day in, day out going, wow, when am I going to start living my life? So, it's like the highs are way higher and the lows are way lower, but it's so worth it if you think life is short and we have to live for the now.
And the only thing I would add to that is I just don't believe that you only live once. I think that's completely wrong. I think you only die once, but you get to live every day. And so I feel like we just live every day. And so if tomorrow we decide we need to leave, we just leave. Yeah. So
that's fantastic.
We're not quite there yet, but that could be where we go.
Oh, and I just want to say the hardest part about settling in Japan is buying stuff again. It's driving me crazy. We're like, oh, we need a colander because we keep washing things and they're dumping in the sink, and oh, we need this and we need this because we're setting up home, and I don't like acquiring stuff again.
Wow. So, yeah, that's a whole different conversation. Yeah. A whole episode on its own. So.
Yeah.
Okay. So one more thing. If people want to find out a little bit more about you guys, how can they find out more? Do you have a blog or Jonathan?
Yep. Well, my practice is at jonathanvanviegen.com. Sorry, I'll say that again. It's at jonathanvanviegen.com. We'll put it in the notes or whatever. And Meredith has her blog. It's called Have
Kids Will Wander. HaveKidsWillWander.com. So that chronicles a bit about our life over the past year. I've only written 1 or 2 posts since in Japan. It's just been so busy. But I hope to keep adding to it, so you can definitely reach out through there. I'm on Instagram.
Yeah, and
Have Kids Will Wander. On Facebook, Have Kids Will Wander.
Yeah.
So
okay. Well, when
happy
this wraps
to share.
Up, yeah. When we press finish on this, it'll go. I guess it'll go live, but I'll share it to Parenting Passports and Profits, and if you start putting some links in there, just and hopefully everyone will reach out and find out more. So, listen, thank you, Charlotte and Aria, for letting your mum and dad come on Family Friday.
Charlotte's getting her breast milk.
Yeah,
she's hungry for a second breakfast.
Awesome. I'm sure the same thing's happening back in my house. In some circles. So cool. Okay, well, awesome to catch up with you, and hopefully we'll do a family social, because I think I saw a message from Ellie that she would love to say hi to the girls, and she's even making suggestions about visiting you at Christmas or something. So
we have another apartment, so
we have a whole other apartment we can put someone up in. And I was just going to say, we'd love to host people here in Japan. It's not an easy country to visit if you don't know the language and you don't know how to make it happen. It's not like Hoi An where you just roll up and you find a place to stay. So now that we're here, we'd love to help other world schooling families come and see it and enjoy it. Yeah.
Cool, and I can vouch that's a really genuine offer. And nearly all world schooling families, when all world schooling families talk like this, they mean it. They really
mean it.
So likewise from Hoi An. If you're in Hoi An, just come and say hi. We would love to spend time with you. So, guys, thanks very much for joining us. Lovely to see the girls. I look forward to speaking to you soon privately, and best wishes with everything you are doing with your wonderful journey and your time in Japan. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks so much.
Colin. It was fun
See
to
you
chat.
later, guys.
Say hi to Ellie and the girls.
Take care now. Bye.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.